If you thought Jurassic World Dominion was bad, just wait until you see Jurassic Domination. Jurassic Domination is like Jurassic Reborn, a horrible copy trying to take advantage of a new Jurassic World movie. Jurassic Domination was released back in 2022, a little over a week before Jurassic World Dominion was released. So it is in all regards the exact same story as Jurassic Reborn. It is only made to confuse viewers into watching this horrible knockoff instead of the original one. I didn't like Jurassic World Dominion, but this one is so much worse. Every bad thing about Jurassic World Dominion is at least 10 times worse in Jurassic Domination. Welcome to a new episode of the Jurassic Exploitation. In this series I'll be watching and rating all of the Jurassic Park ripoffs and bad dinosaur movies. Today I'll be going over the boring snoozefest asylum copy, Jurassic Domination. Jurassic Domination was released back in 2022, a little over a week before Jurassic World Dominion. It is made by The Asylum, again. If you aren't familiar with The Asylum, making cheap copies of popular titles is their jam. It is directed by Brian Nowak, who hasn't made anything interesting. It is written by Geoff Mead and Jason Tazier. Geoff Mead actually appeared in Fast and Furious 5 and Resident Evil Extinction, but other than that, both of these writers don't have anything notable. It also stars Eric Roberts, whom you may know from The Dark Knight, The Expendables, or one of the other 800 movies that he has played in. The whole budget probably went to the few minutes of screen time that he gets in this movie. Everything else is just horrible. At least Jurassic Reborn had some interesting moments and goofy quirks, but this one's just horrible. This movie is like the neuralizer in Man in Black, because I just can't remember where those 85 minutes of my life went. To show you how bad this movie is, let's do a quick rundown of this movie, if I can still remember what happened.
Why is that guy still wearing a plastic bag on his head?
The movie begins with a military convoy transporting something valuable. The two soldiers in the front of the truck have a conversation, but I can't remember what they were talking about. The driver is played by Eric Gourmet. He also looks like the guy from this meme.
What are you, retarded?
He looks an awful lot like him. He also sounds like him. Anyways, it's probably not the same guy, because he plays and produces a whole lot of mini TV series. TV series such as, and these are the real names of these series, Boss Please Behave, CEO's Baby Mama's Secretary, The Alpha's Gifted Luna, and who could forget the classic Stealing Alpha's Heart. Yeah, that's it. This is my 13th reason why. He literally only plays in these weird romance garbage shows. Anyway, the other guy is played by D'Angelo Davis, who just seems like a nice guy. Surprise, surprise, they're transporting dinosaurs in a big metal box. The dinosaurs aren't happy, and they kill the woman that was sitting in the back of the truck. For some reason, this unlocks the big metal crate, and I don't know why. There have to be better security measures for these things, right? Also, why is there just a big gap in the metal crate? They're supposed to be highly secret assets. Why would you put a giant gap in this crate? There's literally no reason for why this gap is there. It makes no sense. But they escape their crate and kill all of the soldiers. Also, how am I supposed to believe that these big allosaurs can fit in that tiny little crate in the back of a truck? This allosaurus is literally the same height as the truck, if not bigger. And also, why would you not tell them what they were transporting? It's like giving a group of toddlers a gun without telling them what it is. This whole movie already makes no sense. Anyway, it's time for a title card. We then move to a conversation between two soldiers, Major Tanner, who is played by Jack Pearson, who also looks like my old economics teacher, and Corporal Higgins, who is played by Kalo de Jesus Buffington. Okay, this is the part where I say that I'm not shaming any of these actors. Listen, these movies are bad. The acting is bad. Everything about them is bad, but I will never hate or shame any of the actors that play in these movies. I have a whole lot of respect for them, and every joke I make at their expense is not to shame them, but just for entertainment. So I respect them for actually taking on these roles, even though they probably knew that they were shite. Okay, on with the story. They have a long and boring conversation about what happened to the convoy. After this, we get a long walking shot of the colonel, who is played by Jamie Bernadette. She walks over to the secret lab where she meets, I already forgot her name. She's played by Alyssa Filoramo, whom you may know from The Billionaire Sex Addict and His Therapist. Absolute cinema. It kinda sounds like a TV show about Jeffrey Epstein. My billionaire's husband's secret island. Anyways, there is more forgettable, boring dialogue, talking about the dinosaur eggs or whatever, I can't remember. We then go over to a couple of truckers. You can already guess what happens next. Of course they get eaten by an Allosaurus. It's just an average day in Florida, I guess. We then get a whole lot of phone calls and a whole lot of boring dialogue. Also, this big T-Rex looking dinosaur is supposed to be their mother. I don't know what in the xenomorph is happening here, but how is an Allosaurus, who are often not as chunky and have pretty large forearms, supposed to turn into this? It doesn't make sense. Why not just use the same model? Or hell, even make some adjustments to the Allosaurus model. But why this? It makes no sense. I know these movies are bad. I know they are bad before I even get into them, but this is a whole nother level. There is no hope for this movie, and we're not even 50 minutes into it. We then have another long conversation, this time between the colonel and the major. The major also doesn't notice the dinosaurs until the colonel addresses it, which is just stupid. They have a whole conversation about the origins of the dinosaurs and about the new capture mission, which is boring as hell. The origins of the dinosaurs are, and I kid you not, from South America. And if I'm not mistaken, Allosaurus is a North American species. It doesn't make sense. Out of all the possibilities, that's what they chose? Not some secret Area 51 type shit with classified research. No, just a small group of extremists in South America that made these dinosaurs in order to use them as weapons. That's so stupid. And because they are designed as weapons, guess what? They are bulletproof. Of course. It couldn't be a knockoff Jurassic movie without making the dinosaurs bulletproof. The Major is tasked with creating a capture team for some reason. Also, I'm just gonna bash in this movie again because why didn't she just have a capture team on standby? Why are you just doing this now? These characters are the stupidest people on earth, I swear to God. He then comes back with a fully assembled capture team consisting of Corporal Higgins, Lieutenant Richardson, who is played by Jenny Tran, and the only highlight of this movie, Lieutenant Peters, who is played by Azim Fecchio. He is by far the only one in this movie who puts effort into his role. They also really hammer down the idea of the dinosaurs wreaking havoc in the city, only for the dinosaurs to come straight towards the military base. They just wasted so much time explaining the danger they could cause, only for nothing to happen. This whole thing, it's a waste of time. They also have these Doom Eternal ass weapons called slug guns. Slug guns. Try saying that fast 10 times. But they finally make their way to the Allosaurus. Lieutenant Richardson gets attacked and dies, but they shoot it with this slug gun, which immediately kills it for some reason, even though it was only meant to stun the dinosaur. Turns out that this was the weaker sister or something. I don't know. This movie doesn't make any sense. Then again, just 50 minutes of phone calls and meetings. Also, the Allosaurus is able to mimic birds and sounds and shit. It adds absolutely nothing to the movie, and it isn't even used in the rest of the movie. Why is this even explained in the first place? It makes no sense. They try to lure the dinosaurs into a trip mine, but the dinosaur doesn't fall for it somehow. It grabs a trash can and it flicks it into the trip mine, which sets off the explosion. The colonel literally says, "Clever girl."
Clever girl.
It's so bad. It's so bad. This has got to be an old ChatGPT script.
Clanker.
There's no way. I could go in ChatGPT right now and ask for a Jurassic ripoff movie, and he would just blurt out the same thing. It's so bad. They then find the researcher from before and bring her to the safe room. Here the colonel offers her a whiskey, which straight up looks like a Skyrim health potion. She says that they need quartz to upgrade their weapons somehow. Also, it's not that hard. We all know that quartz is found in the nether. The Major finds the quartz and goes back and packer punches his weapon. We then have even more hallway action, which goes on for way too long. Corporal Higgins then dies out of nowhere. This upsets Peters. He then loses his mind and has a complete meltdown. It's not good and it doesn't make any sense in the context of the movie, but it's the best acting that is displayed throughout this whole movie. They have a whole shootout in the cafeteria, but the Allosaurus doesn't budge and he ends up killing Peters. The scientist then comes to the rescue with a weapon that has been upgraded twice and she takes down the Allosaurus. They then search for the nest, but the colonel gets attacked, so they pull back and try to help her. Somehow she survived and they all go into the nest, where they have the stupidest final battle ever. This is the worst finale to a movie ever. Period. She throws an egg towards the quote-unquote mother dinosaur and then she throws a grenade right after it. This is also the singular worst grenade throw that I have ever seen. But somehow the dinosaur is not able to sniff out the explosion this time for some reason. It reaches down and the grenade explodes and then the dinosaur dies from this tiny ass explosion. Then F-16s swarm the base because they had an order from the general to destroy everything. The scientist then does the worst attempt at trying to get attention that I have ever seen. The colonel calls in that the mission succeeded and the general calls off the airstrike. They then celebrate with some stock sound effects of cheering and go back to drink some health potions, whiskey, and the credits roll.
And I want you to make me a Krabby Patty!
Response.
I'm still only a few movies deep into this series, but this one's already the worst one on this list. There is genuinely nothing good I can say about this movie. When I started this series, it was meant as a celebration of bad dinosaur movies and just movies in general, but this one is kinda just like Reborn. It's just a horrible, boring knockoff of the original. Its sole purpose is to try and take advantage of the original Jurassic World release. I can't think of anything positive to say about this movie other than Azim Fetchio. Besides him, there is nothing redeeming about this movie. I thought Reborn was bad, but this one's worse. At least Reborn had a semi-interesting story. It was a story that wasn't original or special, but at least it was a little bit interesting. But Domination, it has nothing going for it. All of the scenes are made to prolong the runtime of the movie and are a waste of time. The story of this movie is so dumb. It's full of plot holes and it's just plain stupid. It's like trying to communicate with a deaf and blind chimpanzee. It's just a confusing mess and it just keeps throwing shit at you. But its biggest sin is that it's boring. Some of these bad dinosaur movies are at least entertainingly bad, but this one's just so boring. The reason why they're called the Asylum is because you'd have to be clinically insane in order to find any sort of amusement in their movies. Jurassic Domination gets an easy 1 out of 10, even based on my ratings for this series, and it's an easy F tier. If you like movies, dinosaurs, or even bad movies, Jurassic Domination is one that you should avoid at all costs. There's no amount of enjoyment to be found, even for dinosaur obsessed kids like I used to be. The dinosaurs have like 1 or 2 minutes of screen time and they don't do much. Anyways, just stay away from this movie because this is just a waste of 85 minutes. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments and maybe I'll cover them in a future episode of The Jurassic Exploitation. Goodbye.